So if you're telling a story about Atlantic City, it's got to make sense. It has to have a beginning, a middle, and no end. I don't believe in an end. I think the end has to be ongoing, revolving, reoccurring. It was the summer of 1954. A friend of mine's mother worked in Atlantic City. She had a job, and he asked, could I come down and spend the weekend with his parents? When we got here, I got off the bus, and I went buck wild. I was just amazed. I just never seen anything so robust and so exciting before in all my life. Because all of the nightclubs were open 24 hours. They never closed in Atlantic City. I had never seen that in Philadelphia. Just really amazing to see all of these people coming into town with cash money. This is prior to credit cards. So people had bankrolls in their pockets. Yeah, they would have a $100 bill on the outside and fill it up with $1 bills with a rubber band around it. So the museum concept came up. I had this wonderful collection in my home. This is how the museum got started. It was the very first item that I had purchased. I'd gone into an antique store in North Carolina. I said to the clerk, do you have anything that's black or African American? She says, I have one item, it's in the back room. So she goes into the back room and she comes out with this book here. It's called Little Black Sambo, written by a lady by the name of Helen Bannerman. This is the red line area of Atlantic City. This is where people of color had to live, from Connecticut Avenue back up to Arkansas, and from Atlantic Avenue back up to Venice Park, but not including Venice Park. The museum tells a story. It tells a story about Atlantic City's people, its children, its grandchildren, its great-grandfather, a guy who had an ice wagon in Atlantic City with a horse and buggy that eventually got a truck to pull the ice as opposed to the ice and buggy. But all of those business of color that were on the north side were just guys who just made it because they had to feed their families. A restaurant on a boardwalk in Atlantic City, I don't know if you can see this one here. It's called Mammy's Restaurant. And Mammy's Restaurant was a restaurant where the women who worked there of color had to dress up in Aunt Jemima outfits to go to work, and that's how they served their food. So there was one lady who was my neighbor. Her name was Mrs. Lamb, and she used to have to work 3 times a day back and forth with that outfit on. More and more people have to learn that when they come to a town like Atlantic City, to learn the history, and that's what we do here at the African American Museum. We're delighted that Atlantic City has stepped up their game in so many ways to be able to tell the history of Atlantic City and the important people that were part of the history who came here 162 years ago to build the city, to build its boardwalk, to build its railroad stations and its hotels. I just want you to have the opportunity to come over to Atlantic City's African American Museum, where our staff and our docents will teach you and take you through the steps of the great contributions of people of color.